feel like you've had a workout in your mouth. You should after that exercise. And if anybody doesn't, then you need to do it faster and crisper. So it's a really good way to warm up. If you've got a presentation, a day in court, you're going to spend time speaking to people who are in their laptops before you start to do something like a tongue twister or this particular exercise, and just warm up all the mouth muscles. Makes it so much easier. Remember, it's much harder work to frown than smile. It's much harder work to be stressed than relaxed. And if the muscles are all toned up, it makes it easy to speak clearly. So anybody that had clarity on their list of goals, that's a really good exercise for you. Got it? Good. Let's move on. Now, this pause exercise, we've got one sentence, and the sentence is, there's only one thing to do now. Negotiate. And I want you to find out how long you can hold that pause. What I want you to do is to, let's see how we're going to do this. We've only got one stage. Right, we're going to divide the group into two lots. You're either on that side or that side. And I want each of you to stand up in front of the rest of your group and do it. Now, when you paused, I want you to notice the difference. There's only one thing we can do now. Negotiate. It doesn't work, right? You have to hold people when you pause. The state that you hold inside is, I'm about to tell you something important. Pay attention. That's what the pause is for. There's only one thing we can do now. Negotiate. Okay, what did you do in the pause? What were you doing? Waiting. Did it add that kind of feeling of, okay, good, that's what you want. You know, this man is guilty as charged, is going to give it much more power than this man is guilty of as charged. Isn't it? Does that work? I'm just trying things, okay? I'm just playing, and I want you to do the same. So actually there's probably how many people? Let's do it in groups of 6, 12, yeah. Groups of 5 or 6, because otherwise it's going to take forever. And I want you to see how long you can hold their attention and pause. Off you go. There's only one thing left to do before lunch. Juggling. No, we're not really juggling. We're going to be working with the balls. But first of all, I want to know that particular exercise is an important one because of the state you have to get into in order to do it. Did you notice it? Okay. Because when you really decide that you are going to pull stuff out of people, you have to be able to pause. I did some research on charismatic speakers. And what I found was that there was only one vocal trait that they all had, and that was the ability to pause. It takes a certain kind of security in yourself to make that silence and to expect people to stay with you. And when you decide to do it, it's a really good thing that happens inside, isn't it? Did you find that? It doesn't have to be serious. It could be, there's only one thing we can do now, guys. Play! You know, it doesn't matter, but when you make that pause, that's what's going to add real drama. It's going to add weight. So if you want to be more authoritative, learning to pause is really useful. Now, I don't know about other languages, but in English we have wonderful, juicy words, and we want to use them. So if we're saying, I don't know, exciting, it's got to sound it. Do you know the word onomatopoeic, which means that a word sounds like its meaning? It's juicy. It's got to sound juicy. It's delicious. It's got to sound delicious, so that when you're delivering information, you do the thing that an information deliverer has to do, which is make it easy for people to take the meaning, so that they don't have to work hard. People won't work hard if you don't give it to them so that it just slips inside their mind and does something, particularly important for hypnosis. How many people here use hypnosis in their work? Okay, lots of you. If you're going to use hypnosis, you have to be able to express those words juicy. So the next exercise is to help you do that. Now the thing is, the fact that they're juicy isn't the only thing. You also need to make sure that the sound really impacts them. So here's the crack, here's the game. You've got a list of words. And the title of this exercise is Voice with Balls. Okay, that's an ambiguity in English for any of you who aren't English, because I want you to have grandes cojones when you do this. You really have to be meaty about it. Okay, and you're going to be using a ball. So it's an ambiguity. That's just my little joke. But the important thing is that when you do it, you really give it balls. If you're using the first word, focused, it's got to be completely focused. You've got to choose where the focus of attention is and make it sound focused. There's lots of ways you can do it, but you've got to mean it. So you're calling yourself Haggis today, are you? Fine.
I called myself Haggis yesterday. It's just that Haggis isn't on my credit card.
Okay. So can I borrow you for a moment, Haggis? Would you come up here? So here's how we're going to do it. The first word is focused. I'm going to say the word and throw the ball to you. Your job is to catch the word and the ball. Right? Here we go. Focused. Now, did it feel focused? Okay. So now send it back to me and make it feel also focused.
Focused.
Good. Okay. The next word. What is the next word on my list?
Shouting.
Shouting. Okay, here it comes. Shouting!
Yes.
Okay, shout it back at me.
Shouting!
Good. So, thank you so much. So you give the word its meaning. It's got to be so that somebody who doesn't even understand English would understand what you're saying. It's got to arrive with the ball. If the ball goes off, then do it again. Because in that movement of throwing it and sending your voice is going to be focused. Good. That's what you want. That's what you want.
Shouting. Focus. Yes. Focus. Shouting. Focus.
That's it. So I want to start off this afternoon by taking a couple of really useful states to you individually and having you practice them, because it's practicing that's going to make them be able to be better for you, and it's also where you get to identify, oh, okay, that's the thing I need to focus my attention on. Remember, to me, where you focus your attention is the key. So let's start off with soothing. Everybody needs to be able to soothe people. What are the component parts of a voice that's really soothing? What is it that you need to do inside to bathe somebody in something that helps them to relax?
Slow down.
Possibly. Yes, yes.
You have to be in a relaxed state.
Be in the right state yourself.
Calm the other person down.
Okay, so you're in the right state, you're You're focusing on them being in the same state. And you're giving it to them like a present, wrapped up with a beautiful bow on it. You're not throwing it at them, you're not forcing them. I don't like bullying, I don't like being bullied. I know there are some people who bully their clients into good health. That's one way of doing it. It's not my way. My way is to lure them into a better state. To me, it just works better and it's a pleasant experience. I like my people to have pleasant experience. So I want you to find out, and the only way you're really going to find out is by testing it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to work in threes, and I want you to experiment with your checklist with what happens when you raise and lower the volume. Does it get more or less soothing? What happens when you speed up and slow down? What are the component parts of really soothing? And then you're going to come back here and tell me. Okay, work in threes. For those of you who haven't done NLP, it doesn't have to be hypnosis. It can be if you want. Use whatever skills you have. Check with the people you're working with. If you're working with somebody who isn't an NLP practitioner, don't just assume it's okay to ask them to go into a trance.
And other things, but
Okay. Would you like to go first? Would you like to go first?
Sure, okay.
Listen to the sound of my voice.
So, start telling me what worked. What worked? What were the things that you found mattered? So let's start off. Did the speed of your speech matter?
Yes.
So,
And the direction of that speed.
the direction of that speed. So getting slower, gradually slowing down. So pace, slowing. Okay? Did anybody not think that? You all agree that the pace counts? It's interesting, so we have consensus here. Lowering your pitch, you mean taking your voice lower. Okay, speaking from lower down in your body. What about inflections, talking about pitch? Did you try doing falling inflections and rising inflections? Did anybody manage to soothe anyone with rising inflections? The falling inflections are soothing, right? Okay. Falling inflections are soothing and reassuring as well as commanding. So if you're not so good at them, it's really worth practicing. Something I want to point out and actually do as a group. I did actually hear the dreaded, and now you're going deeper. Now, I want to say something about that actually, because the reason people sometimes use a rising inflection on the word deeper is because there's something more to come. If you're saying, I want you to go deeper and deeper still, those words, it's very easy, if you don't know better, to say, I want you to go deeper and deeper still. So I just want you to listen and decide on which you prefer. Going deeper and deeper still. Or deeper and deeper still. Which is better? Okay, so keeping those inflections falling even when there's something coming. One of the things that really helps with this work is to back away from the content. Okay, you just know you're aiming in a direction. Those falling inflections for soothing are going to be really important. And by the way, this works a treat on children. And I've just been practicing for 3 weeks with my grandchildren. When they were hectic and crazy and I wanted to soothe them, I talked about interesting things, but I gradually slowed down. I used lots of falling inflections. Okay, it's very important. And yes, I took my pitch lower and lower, but that wasn't the important thing. The important thing for me with them was to slow down and use falling inflections. Oh, that's fun. Why don't we sit down and read a book now? Did anybody use juicy words and make them really count? Good. And of course, deeper is a great word to make juicy. Deeper. You purr at the end of deeper. Deeper. Anything else for soothing? Or are these the main things? Pauses. Now, who found that pauses really helped? Yes. Okay.
A strong rhythm.
Oh.
Like when you're on your stool and your rhythm gets stronger and I'm stuff yours, but it's the same rhythm. The strength of the rhythm, even with pauses or without pauses, when it's very rhythmic, after a little while, it's hypnotic, I think, is the word.
Of course, that's a really good point. Anything else? Okay, let's flip it. What's exciting and motivating? Which are the aspects of speech that make something seem inspiring, exciting, motivating? Okay, I want you to find out, just like you did this one, I want you to find out what you have to do to jiggle their molecules and make them feel like, woohoo, yeah, let's go. Okay, same exercise, different focus. So you could try all these things, try the opposite direction, and then try some of the others. And I want to hear back from you. I'm learning. Cool.
We do that. Shall we do the same for yes?
And because of all your movement, your eyebrows going, and I think you got it.
And you can hear from the way she's speaking to you that she got it. Of course, she's giving it to you back, so now you know. And one of the things that I liked about that was it was covert. It wasn't like, I am doing this to you to excite you. You were just telling them how you felt, and in that you got it, clearly. So, really good, really good. And exciting? What do you have to do?
It's a higher. We were just discussing this. You could still do it from down here, but culturally, when something's excited, it's often that higher pitch.
Yeah. When you're excited, you're probably breathing higher in your body. That low breathing is very relaxing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so do you bring your voice up a little bit? So instead of having it centered down here, are you centering your voice higher up? Very important. Good.
I think it even works when you're using the whole spectrum of your pitch from up and down and up and down. It's,
So you do a lot of up and down?
Yeah.
Okay, good, I like that. Excellent. Content? Who said content? Yeah, well, the content counts, of course, but that's...
You choose words that elicit excitement.
Okay.
Whereas if you were trying to soothe somebody, you wouldn't start talking about fireworks.
No.
But you might if you want to sort of get excitement going.
But you know what? I could talk about fireworks and it would still be soothing. You know, when you sit back and you watch those explosions in the sky and you just let them be beautiful, okay? So, of course your words count, we know this, but you can actually make any content exciting and any content relaxing. I often say I could read you my shopping list and put you into a trance. And I think that that's an important skill. You know, to be able to say anything, because that means then that you can put the content which is going to be most useful.
Fast pace.
much faster paced than soothing, right? Okay, so the opposite of that. Did anybody try gradually making it faster and faster? No? Okay, well just remember, we decided that gradually making it slower and slower was soothing.
Well, I was able to keep the voice low, but still get the energy out.
Yeah. What Thomas was doing was using a breathy, magical kind of a thing. Okay, so using more breath than sound. And look what happens when you hear that. Okay, so your breath, when you're excited, you will be breathing kind of faster. So when you can hear that, it has an effect. Breath. Oh, I can't spell anymore. It's the end of 2 days. Okay, anything else? Anybody try rising inflections? Did they help? Okay. Okay. What about juicy? Did anybody try juicy?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Good. Juicy words, always useful. Whenever you want to invoke a state in somebody, there are going to be some words which are really worth stretching so they feel it. Right. Here's the challenge for this one. You're going to convey these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different states, but I want you just to choose 2 at a time, read out a paragraph or 2. This is where now you're really having to work at divorcing the state from the content so that you can do it even if you're reading your shopping list. I don't want you to tell them which state you're conveying. I want them to tell you. Now, I remember once we were doing this exercise on a course and there was a guy who was desperately trying to do humour, and every time he did humour, the feedback he got was that it was fascinating. Nobody was laughing, but people were fascinated. So what he learned was that whatever it was he was doing, even if he called it humour, that's how to fascinate people. How useful was that? So he now knows how to fascinate people. He had to find out what to do in future in order to sound funny, but he'd really got fascinating down to a T, and he'd never thought of it, because he just didn't know why his jokes were falling flat, but everybody seemed really engaged and then kind of let down. So he could use those skills in other areas, like when he was delivering a report with boring figures in. A lot of my clients come to me and say, oh, you know, how are you going to help me do my presentations? Because they're really boring. They really are boring. I've got to deliver all the stats for last year. I go, I am sorry, but I can tell you, I could make it fascinating. You can make anything interesting, exciting. I once went to a lecture. It was a couple, a married couple, had written a book on the ancient Egyptian pyramids. And there were some really interesting new ideas in it. The guy didn't like presenting, clearly. He really obviously didn't like standing up and speaking in public. And the lady did. So that was the first thing. He had a very big beard. So he already had something to overcome because it was slightly over his face. So it was muffling his sound a bit. And the PA system wasn't working. And there were about 50 people in the room. And I wish I had my video camera with me, because everybody in the audience was falling asleep. Nobody was getting excited about it. Everybody wanted to get excited about it. It was an exciting topic, but he was so soporific. He was really rather boring. And actually the effect of it was that everybody got very relaxed and wanted to go to sleep. You could see their flushed faces. The lady didn't really have the best bit of the presentation to make. She really had the questions mostly at the end. She stood up at the end of this talk, and within 30 seconds, everybody sat up, everybody engaged, and everybody was on it. Now, she had the boring bit and he had the interesting bit, but she was interesting and he was boring. You can make anything sound fascinating and anything sound relaxing if you use the right state and the right voice. Find out what you find out. Notice what you notice. Okay, I'm going to give you 20 minutes for this. It's really important because this is the crucial bit. This is the bit where whatever you're doing after this course, you're going to be able to elicit the state that you want, regardless of the content. So really work at this, guys.
I kept that. You made me sympathize to whatever case you do, but I was waiting. Do you want money?
Okay, that's really...
Are you opening
okay.
a school to do this training?
It's quite interesting to know.
Yeah. Maybe you didn't think of it, but it just somehow came to me.
Okay, good.
And it's been 50% success rate so far.
You were actually enchanting people with your story when you were doing exciting. That's what I thought. You were really enchanting them. You had that breathiness, which is so enchanting. But that's what this is for. Remember what I said? There was a guy who thought he was being funny, and at that point he was being really engaging. So he had to go away and get used to the fact that he had to aim for being funny in order to be engaging. Because when you're communicating, it's what happens to the other person that counts. It's not about what your intention is, it's about the result. So if you're really good at being funny by doing that sympathetic thing, then remember that. Okay, you may need to do some work on finding out when people feel you're sympathizing. I'll help you with that. You know, you can work on that. There's always music in my head. And I pick my tracks. So here's a suggestion for you. Over tea, which you're about to have, why don't you come up with 2 or 3 tracks of music that are big state enhancers for you, so that you can have them, you can practice having them playing in your head and work to their rhythm. So, you know, if it's Superman, da 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 da, and just get your foot tapping in your head. Rhythm is in your body. It's not something that just happens in your head, but you need something going on in your head to feel it in your body. But I think that it's really important to anchor the skills so that you've got them really embodied inside you. So what are you going to come up and talk about? You could come up and talk about what you're going to do after you leave this course in your life where it's going to make a difference to use your voice more skillfully, and how it's going to be. How's it going to feel? What difference is it going to make? So if it was me, I'd be saying, after this course, what I've learned from you as an audience is that even though some things are very varied in response, there are some rules which clearly seem to be true for everybody. For example, because when you're relaxing and soothing somebody, we all agreed that slowing the pace down was more relaxing. I'm going to remember next time I'm with a client to slow down even more and find out whether that gets them more relaxed. So I want to thank you for teaching me that today, and I plan to take that into the rest of my life. So that would be my example. Okay? That's about the right length of time. Really, not very much, just a little bit. But did the state come across? What came across in state? What did you get? Sorry, say that again? Calm.
Joy.
So,
Joy.
joy. I look joyfully calm. I like that. I want to be joyfully calm. How wonderful. So just have that in your mind as we do this rhythm exercise, okay? But you're going to have to get on your feet for it. Who here knows the tune When the Saints Go Marching In? Okay, good. So we're all going to sing it together. And it doesn't matter if you're a brilliant singer or not a brilliant singer. I want you to sing the tune, and I want you to clap on the offbeat. So it's going to go like this. Oh, when the saints go marching in, join in. Oh, when the saints go marching in, I wanna be there in that number. Okay, stop. Right. Speeding it up won't get this exercise over any quicker. It'll mean we have to go back to the beginning. Okay. So the first thing is now, just hear it in your head. In your head. Oh, when the saints, clap, 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 clap. Keep it right on the beat. That's way off. Let's get it on. Okay, it's tough. Sit down. When they were auditioning for a particular musical in town, that's how they tested who they were going to hire for the dancers. Because if that's a hard thing to do. But if you can't do that, how can you go and dance on a West End stage? I know that's tough to do. What I would recommend you do, if you feel you want to get more rhythm in your body, is to listen to very rhythmic music. And then when you've listened to it, play it in your head and hear the rhythm. I've always got music in my head. Right now, it's when the bloody saints go marching in. But earlier on, it was more than a feeling, because I played it. And it was still running in my head when I switched it off. Who else here does that? Who else listens to music and then it's in their head all day? Yeah. Sure, okay. So all you have to do then is to tune into the rhythm of it in your head. Once it's in your head, feel it in your body. My whole body wants to do stuff when I'm listening to rhythm. I want to shake my head, I want to tap my foot. When I'm driving along, it's troublesome if I'm listening to music because my foot's on the accelerator and I'm going because it's hard not to. So all that there is left is for us to hear you do it. Now, let's just decide in advance. First of all, this isn't the be-all and end-all. If you don't do the best job you've ever done, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay? What matters is that you have a go and find out what it's like. What do you need to do before you get up here? You need to get into state. You need to get the breathing working for you. You need to start getting excited about getting up here and having a chance to test out whether you can do it. And if you can't, it just means more practice. It's not a big deal. Okay, so I want to preempt anybody going, oh my God, I wanted to do it, that's ruined the whole course, everything I've been working on. Because it's not true. You've already learnt loads of stuff. Some of it needs more practice. And some of it you've already got under your belt and you don't even know yet. And some of it you do know. And that's all very cool. So just get up here and have some fun. Say what you're going to do with this stuff. Tell us about how you're going to practice it more. Something like that. It really isn't the content. What's important is the state that you convey. Is it going to be excited? Is it going to be happy? Is it going to be tired? Is it going to be joyful? And as you decide, check your goals. Remember what you came here for. Say your name before you start.
I'm Sandra. Thank you for all being here to listen to me as I fulfill my objective of projecting my voice. I came here on this course specifically to be able to place my voice as far in the distance as I possibly can. But from this course, Laura Spicer, this wonderful woman, this fantastic coach, this inspirational person, oh, words fail me. What can I say other than thanks a million? Because the main thing I've got out of this weekend that I never ever envisioned for myself, never dreamt of, was how to breathe. And that is a tremendous gift I will carry with me all the days of my life. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, thank you, Sandra. That was very, I mean, okay, I'm embarrassed about the content. Thank you so much. But that's it.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Callum, and part of the reason for coming on the course was I recently took a booking for giving a presentation in June to an audience I was a little worried about, business owners of slightly bigger businesses than I'm used to. And I suppose unconsciously I was already planning to be a bit freaked out by the mic and the inevitable camera and all of these blank faces. And this weekend has been teaching me to think about, what if they love me? What if it went really well? And what if I had a really good time and enjoyed it? What if I made some new friends from the audience?
Hi, my name is Melissa, and I came here to have confidence in my voice. But I'm leaving with so much more. I know that when I go back home, and in my business back home, I deal mainly with men, and I need an authoritative voice, and I've learned that I need to have, for authoritative, use inflections down. And what I'm learning now in counseling and in my courses, I have to give presentations to my classmates and to my teachers, and I want to have confidence, enthusiasm, be informative, and I want to thank you all. I want to thank Laura, but most of all, I want to thank all of you who made me laugh. Because I had such a big laugh. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, you obviously know my name by now. For those who don't know my name, I'm Prakash, just plain Prakash. My objective for the course was to be confident, stand on stage, speak in front of people, engage people, and I've learned a lot. I feel a lot more confident. I'm standing on the stage, as you can see, and I'm talking to you, you're listening to me. Laura's taught me a lot. I've got a lot of skills. I'm still learning, but boy, am I confident. I'm going home confident, and I'm going to be a lot more confident in front of people from now on. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, that's brilliant. And my goodness, you sound confident now. Well, that's really fabulous. What's really made me happy is that every single one of you got up on the stage and gave a presentation that if you'd done that in front of Richard Bandler, I would not be going, oh my God, I don't want him to know they'd been on my course. It's really important to me to know that the work that I'm doing and the things that I'm guiding you to think about is something that you can actually embody. And I think that in every single case, without exception, you've all made a shift this weekend that I can hear. I hope you can hear it too. And what I wonder is, you can probably hear it really well in others. Can you hear it in yourselves? You know, I often think about these group courses. I have very high-powered CEOs coming to work with me, and I often want to say to them, but you might be better off on a group course. Because to me, one of the fabulous advantages of working in a group is the fact that you get feedback from lots of people. No matter how expert I might be, I'm only one person's opinion. And voice is such a subjective thing that, you know, I can only tell you what I'm hearing, and it may be really different from what somebody else is hearing. So to me, what's really, really useful about these courses is to focus your attention for a whole weekend and get help from colleagues and get them to tell you and respond to you so that you can start to calibrate. Now, I mentioned this right at the beginning, didn't I? Do you think you're calibrating better how to use your voice in order to get the response you want? Can I just have a nod or a shake on that? Because, of course, that means then that you have a tool that you can continue to optimize. Because if you're able to calibrate responses better whilst listening to your voice, then that just means you go on improving. I'm really glad that you've all enjoyed it. I've got to tell you that when I come into courses, my agenda is always to have fun. I want to have fun. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun, and I've had loads of fun. So it's really great to hear that you have too, that you've all learned something. I think there's not one person here who hasn't got one useful takeaway. Is that true? Yeah? Okay. Then I'm really happy. I feel that you've really fed me, and I feel rewarded and happy, and I'm going to go home and relax and feel really good. So then all that there's left to say is thank you very much. Please take your beautiful voices, go home, tell the people who love you that you love them in a way that you really convey it, go and have a fab life. If you have any questions after the course, email me, tell me about your successes, and you've been a very fine civilization. Thank you so much.